Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast of your favorite team in the Bay Area. And the Sharks stink, dropping a 5-3 game against the Blue Jackets and then getting shut out against the Bruins. So we're going to recap this weekend's worth of games and move on as we get through the death march that is this road trip. So all that and more on today's episode of Locked On Sharks.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I'm your host, JD Young, contributor at Fear the Fin and San Jose Hockey Now. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. We're free and available wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. If you're watching on YouTube right now, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. You don't want to miss it. We got some good stuff coming up this week. The Sharks stink. We knew this was going to be the time, right? This road trip that kind of been circled on the calendar of this is where this season would go to die or be buried or whatever euphemism you want to metaphor, whatever you want to use for it. But this is the moment. So before we get into this weekend of games that happened, they were things that happened. Do want to let you guys know about our friends over at FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn today to get started. So, yes, the Sharks, they lose 5-3 to the Blue Jackets on Saturday. Turn around, you play the worst team in the NHL and you lose. Then you turn around and play the best team in the NHL in the Bruins. And it wasn't even close. I know the numbers, like we'll get to the number. They look kind of like, oh, wow, the Sharks. No, they were bad. The Bruins just kind of did what they had to win this game. And they were like, we're done with you. They like a cat playing with its food type of situation where clearly the better team. And they just were like, yeah, we're just going to score 4 goals. We're not going to have to do much. We're going to smother your offense, and that was it. So, and it's frustrating because the weekend actually started the first period against the Blue Jackets started out really well, and you're like, okay, maybe get a win against the Blue Jackets. Maybe you can kind of take some momentum into the Bruins game. You kind of hung with them the last time you played them in San Jose until the second period where the wheels kind of fell off. No, this nothing like that. The Sharks blew a lead against the Blue Jackets, made it a little interesting, but then the Blue Jackets just were the better team that day. And the Sharks, had no chance against the Bruins. And we're starting to see, the fun, like threading the needle of being a fun team while losing is starting to go away. We're seeing it's basically like if Timo Meier and Erik Karlsson aren't doing stuff, this team just does not have any scoring punch. And this team is going to continue to get worse and worse as this road trip drags on. And then as pieces start to get pulled from the trade deadline. So RIP to fun tanking Sharks. Now it's just, oh God, can we finish this season, Sharks? So yeah, it is what it is. I mean, this team actually being this fun for this long is kind of a small miracle. And we're still going to get those fun Erik Karlsson moments and fun Timo Meier moments, and fun moments from other guys. But they rely on those top end guys so much to provide so much for this team. And when other teams, good teams like the Bruins, are able to shut down your top guys, and you just have no answer. And we saw that against the Bruins tonight, where the Sharks went like 10 minutes in the first period before they had a shot on goal. Halfway through the game, Jacob Megna had 40% of the Sharks shots on goal with 2 shots on goal. Sharks had 5 about halfway through the game. Like this is not a good team, and it's going to be a slog to get through the end of the season. And hopefully soon we'll see some prospects up to at least make it entertaining. But yeah, this team, this has been kind of the start of the death nail for the Sharks, and going through this massive road trip. So just a quick reminder of who this team plays upcoming. So you have Detroit on Tuesday. Detroit, they're kind of a frisky-ish team, whatever. They've have their moments type of of team. Sharks lost to them 7-4 at home earlier this year. And you play Carolina, you play Pittsburgh, and you play Tampa, and you play Florida. And like Florida is not like what they were last year. And you have the All-Star break, and then you play at Washington, and you're finally home for Pittsburgh. You play Vegas, you play Buffalo, and you play Seattle. By then you play Nashville, who's kind of fighting for a playoff spot, and then you play Chicago. So on the 25th, that's Patrick Marleau's jersey retirement night. So out of all those games, Detroit, maybe like you feel like, okay, maybe the Sharks can win a game there. They'll sneak up on a team here and there, but like the Sharks might be going on an epic losing streak here, especially against the teams that they are playing, and most of these games on the road. So yeah, it is time to look towards the future in the draft. So yes, before we continue, and we'll dive into we'll start with the Blue Jackets game, and then we'll get into the numbers behind the Bruins game, kind of discuss what's up with Kevin Labanc. Let's take a quick break, talk to you guys about our friends over at Athletic Greens. If you guys don't know about Athletic Greens, now is the perfect time to try to get your gut health in order. New year, new me. You want some better gut health. You want more energy, an optimized immune system. You don't want to take a bunch of pills. That's where Athletic Greens comes in. 1 scoop of delicious AG1 water, shake it up, drink it before you even have your morning coffee, and you're good to go. Absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to get your day started right. Great thing about it, costs less than $3 a day. It's cheaper than your cold brew habit or your coffee habit if you're like me. They have over 7,000 5-star reviews recommended by professional athletes, and making it really easy for you right now. Go to athleticgreens.com/NHL Network. Get a 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Again, just visit athleticgreens.com/NHL Network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Okay, let's start with the Blue Jackets game. So Sharks lose 5-3 in this game. Sharks had a 2-0 pure lead about halfway through the game. Looked like they were well on their way to just kind of, taking this game and doing whatever they wanted with it. And then again, as we've seen with the Sharks, whenever they make mistakes, everything is catastrophic for them, right? Johnny Gaudreau scores on the power play, which is insane that it's his first power play goal of the year. Kind of mind-boggling, right? Boone Jenner scores 72 seconds later. Sharks kind of regroup beginning of the third period. They score right away. Nico Sturm gets a goal. Kind of a crazy little play at the net, and it looked like it might have gone off a Blue Jackets player, and Sturm was kind of credited with it because he was the closest guy. But then the Blue Jackets tie it right back up a minute later, and then they go on to take the lead and add an empty netter. Old friend Gus Nyquist with the game winner. And like looking at the way the Sharks kind of dominated the start of this game to how they finished this game, just a tale of kind of two halves of this game. So Sharks started this game shots. So in the first period, it was 15-2 shots for the Sharks. They had expected goals. This is all situations. Expected goals for 1.12 to 0.17. That's kind of putting it on your opponent right there. But second period, much more even. And then the third period, the Blue Jackets just took it to the Sharks. Had 15 shots to 6, which is kind of crazy since the game was pretty much tied for a good chunk of this game until the last half of it. Shot attempts, the Blue Jackets had 23. They gave up 9. Expected goals for 2.12 for the Blue Jackets to the Sharks 0.47. So Blue Jackets in this, and especially in that third period, they took it to the Sharks and they won that game. And I'm glad they did, because the Sharks need all the help they can in the tankathon standings right now. So, yeah, that was what, for a team that's going to be looking forward to the draft, that is kind of what you needed right there. You needed the Sharks to lose that game, and they did it. So, looking at the forward lines, it was kind of, actually it was a little weird, especially with some of the it's weird not seeing Kevin Labanc in there right now. And I know him and David Quinn apparently aren't seeing eye to eye on something and how they're playing. The Sharks team is struggling to score and generate offense, and Kevin Labanc does that. I was shocked that he was not in the Bruins game, especially against a Bruins team that is as lethal as they are. And you would think you'd want to have a puncher's chance of this. The Bruins game, you'd probably want to ice Kevin Labanc, but the lines were they were kind of crazy. The Hurdle, Meyer, AC Mott line did awesome in their time together. They played 6:24 of time on ice, 11 shot attempts to 1. Actual shots was 7-4, and that's kind of what they've been doing for most of the season. And I know AC Mott's been kind of up and down, and I thought he played really well against the Blue Jackets, and I thought he was kind of detrimental against the I'm looking at the wrong one. My bad. That was the Bruins game. Holy snap. My bad. Scratch that. Sharks forward lines against the Blue Jackets. That line, the AC Mott Hurdle Meyer line, played 11:43. They had 6 shot attempts, 4, gave up 13. Not good. Nico Sturm, Barabanov, 9:04. 2 shots, 4, gave up 12. Gregor, Sturm, Bonino, 8:18. 8 shot attempts, 4, gave up 4. And then Lindblom, Lawrence Gadovich, 9:25. Had 5 shot attempts and gave up 9. Yeah, the Sturm, Bonino, Gregor line had a good line. Gregor I thought had a pretty good game in that game. Was kind of all over the ice, flying around, doing Noah Gregor things. Poor guy still can't shoot right now. Where he can shoot, he just can't shoot accurately. Sorry, let me better rephrase that. But that line provided 8 scoring chances, 4, gave up 3, had 2 high danger chances. Like, they did good things, that line. And you're going to do that against a Blue Jackets team that is kind of hurt / devoid of talent. Their bottom, I talked with Jay about how they're kind of, some of their top end guys are hurt. So their bottom 6 right now is really, really kind of struggling because they just don't have competent players right now. So Gregor, Sturm, and Bonino took advantage of that, and they scored 2 goals. The Nieto Couture Barabanov line got crushed. I mean, giving up 12 shot attempts, 8 actual shots, and 3 goals. Barabanov had a brutal game, one of his worst games, I think, in Teal. And I thought he was actually a candidate to be benched on Sunday's game against the Bruins and maybe in favor for Kevin Labanc. But they stuck with Barabanov. David Quinn stuck with Barabanov this game. But, that line has been kind of outworked, or not outworked, kind of outshot most nights. And that line has been usually kind of put in defensively responsible positions. But they had a tough night tonight because they had 6 neutral zone and only 2 defensive zone. The Gregor Sturm Bonino line actually took most of the defensive zones. They had 6 defensive zone starts, and they still produced really positive results. So a little weird to see kind of, that Couture line struggling so much right now. As for Capo Kakinen, he was okay. I think probably the second goal he probably wanted back. The power, like, which one was that? Sorry, the power play goal against Gajovic. Sorry, he probably wanted that one back a little bit. It was a power play, and there was kind of a mess in front of him in the net. But I think he was in position, maybe. Realized maybe he had a little bit longer time than he realized to maybe get set. But yeah, that's when he probably wanted back. But like line A left all alone in the third. The Boone Jenner goal was scored off the rush. Nyquist was off the rush. Like, I thought he played okay. So he had 28 shots, made 24 saves, 857 save percentage. 3 high danger saves on 4 high danger shots, 8 mid danger saves on 10 mid danger shots, and 11 low danger saves on 12 mid danger or low danger shots. So, he was okay. So he wasn't the reason the Sharks lost that game. So, their offense went to sleep and they got pushed around in the third period, and the Blue Jackets took it to them. So, yeah. That's what happened. So before we get into the Bruins game and kind of look at why or how the Bruins just kind of put the Sharks to sleep, do want to take a quick break, talk to you guys about our friends over at FanDuel. NFL playoffs are here. And we're really excited about our sports betting partner for Locked On, because they're number one sports book in America, FanDuel. If you're new to FanDuel, that's even better because they have so many great features that make betting on sports fun and easy. New customers join today and get started with $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up at FanDuel.com/locked-on. FanDuel has all your favorite bets from money line to point spreads to player props. Plus, you can even combine your bets for a bigger chance at bigger payout with the same game parlay. Maybe this weekend you like, I don't know, maybe your Christian McCaffrey anytime touchdown with a Niners money line win. I feel like if the Niners win, Christian McCaffrey's probably scoring touchdowns. That's just, me thinking out loud right there. So all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. So football fans, don't miss out. Place your first $5 bet and get $150 in free bets, win or lose, at FanDuel.com/locked-on. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports book partner of the NFL. All right, the Bruins. They are very good at hockey. And I kind of, like I kind of said earlier, that team basically kind of just did what they wanted against the Sharks, and they kind of came in, played a C-plus game, and they shut down the Sharks. Like, again, the Bruins only had 22 shots. Like, that's, if you told me the Sharks limited the Bruins to 22 shots, I'd probably feel pretty good about it. But the Sharks only had 18 themselves, right? The Bruins power play, it's insane how good they look when they're just like slinging around against a very, very good Sharks PK. They made them look kind of silly at times, and David Pastrnak scored a goal because Matt Nieto just creeped a little, just kind of gave him a little bit too much space, and then that was it. So really the only highlight for the Sharks was Timo Meier getting into a fight 27 seconds in this game. Other than that, it was basically a complete just beat down by the Bruins. As I kind of spoiled a little bit before, I thought AC Mont, like the eye test tonight, AC Mont did not have a good game, but his line, the AC Mont, Hurdle, Meyer, that's probably mostly Hurdle and Meyer on that line. But like, multiple penalties in this game, just kind of a little hectic, I guess is probably the best word I would probably use to describe him. Sorry, yes, 6 penalty minutes in this game, again, against a insanely good Bruins power play. You can't keep doing that and putting your team in a bad position like that. So, but that line played pretty well. And 6:24 time on ice, 11 shot attempts, 4, 1 allowed, 7 actual shots to 1, but the expected goals for was 0.39. So, not too bad. Like I said, the lines are they're a bit of a mess for this game. So Nico Sturm, Barabanov played 840, 7 shot attempts, 4, 3 allowed. Extra shots was 2-1. Lindblom, Lawrence Gadovich played 707, 6 shot attempts, 4, 11 allowed. So that's where they that bottom 6. That's again the depth of the Bruins, where they can just do, that's where you see that depth of the Bruins, where Sharks could maybe, kind of hang around with the top 6 a little bit. But then when you start getting the bottom 6, and the Bruins are just way better on their bottom 6 players. So, and then Gregor, Sturm, Bonino played 549, 3 shot attempts, 4, 8 allowed. Actual shots was 2-2. So, and we also saw Asimont, Bonino, Sturm play a little bit together. Barabanov, Couture, Meyer play a little bit together. Gregor, Hurdle, Meyer. I think that was just Quinn trying to shake up the lines and try to figure something out, because the Sharks just had no answers for the Bruins tonight. Yeah, even looking at like the Marchand, Bergeron, Craig Smith, 933, 11 shot attempts, 4, 3 allowed. Zaka, Krejci, Pasternak only had 1 shot attempt, which is kind of crazy. And then Greer, Captain, and Flinjo had they were pretty much even. In the Hall, Coyle, Frederick, 8-10 for shots allowed too. So again, like if you look at the numbers, you're like, okay, I mean, the Sharks kind of hung in there, but I think this was just more about the Bruins just kind of doing what they had to, kind of playing a C game, knowing who they were playing and being like, we have bigger things to worry about than this terrible Sharks team right now. So, especially, their schedule right now, they're kind of not too bad right now. They're playing they played the Sharks, then they got Montreal, who's really bad right now, but then they're playing Tampa, Florida, Carolina, Toronto. They got some bigger fish to fry here coming up soon. So they probably, let's just take care of the Sharks team and move on with our day. So, Reimer tonight, poor Reimer. So again, numbers aren't going to look good, especially when you face 22 shots. He made 18 saves, gave up 4 goals, 818 save percentage, 11 high danger shots by the Bruins, made 9 saves, 5 mid danger, made 3 saves, and then 6 low danger and 6 saves in that spot too as well. So poor James Reimer. I'm heading into Tuesday's game. I know Matt Benning missed this game because I guess he has an illness. So I expect Matt Benning, if he's feeling better, to get back into Tuesday's game against the Red Wings. I guess Cechek or Harrington, whichever one you want to pull out. I would personally play Cechek more because I would like to see him get some more development. He's younger. He's played like 10 NHL games. Need to kind of continue to let him get some more run here, especially if he's not going to be playing with the Barracuda. Let him play now instead of just sitting in the press box right now. But I think you got to try to find a way to get Labanc back into the lineup. This team has been struggling to score. This Red Wings team, I think you can score on them. So if you're trying to really look for a win, I think you really need to think long and hard about how you get Labanc back in. If it's on that second line, I think a Labanc, Couture, Barabanov line makes a ton of sense if you want to keep Asimont on the first line, and then you can move Nieto down if you want to take, Gregor out or get it, whoever you want to take out. I mean, you're just shuffling chairs on the Titanic. But I think you really got to try to get Labanc in, unless there's an injury that they haven't told us about. But it seems more like maybe Labanc's in the doghouse type of situation. But at some point he's one of your best players. You either need to bring him back or you need to facilitate a trade with Kevin Labanc, because you can't just keep press boxing Kevin Labanc right now. So we'll see how that goes. So we'll be back tomorrow. I have gold medal winning goalie Ben Gaudreau on the show. So he'll be tomorrow. We talk World Juniors. He kind of goes behind the scenes on goalie pads, and like I learned a lot about goalie pads and how long they last and stuff. So really fun talk with Ben Gaudreau. So that'll be tomorrow. You can find me on Twitter at myfryhole. Follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at Locked On Sharks. You can listen wherever you get podcasts: Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music. You can watch on YouTube as well. And until tomorrow, bye, friends.